Poll numbers in Afghanistan suggest that, poll numbers here in the U.S. suggest that pretty much everybody would like us out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Still, despite the fact that we have a Democratic president now and a Democratic administration, 73% of Democrats think we should get out within a year. But the numbers are going up. 37% of Republicans think we should get out within the first year, and overall the number there, 52% overall think we should have the troops home within 1 year. What also is interesting is that 31% of people, this is a Rasmussen poll, and normally I don't believe anything that Rasmussen says. Well, the poll is tilted, not like everything they said is nonsense, but the poll, they tend to be tilted to the right. But 31% of people think we should come home. Yes, like, you know, we're shooting this on a Tuesday, like Thursday. Like,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
Send the planes, let's start bringing them home.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have the money to be wasting on this. I mean,
what happens if we were to get out with it? If we were to begin a process that had everybody out by March of 2012?
I'm sure the Taliban would take over within 6 to 8 months. I mean, depending on who else got involved. One of their other neighbors may get involved. I mean, there's no way of telling what's going to happen. But, you know, my guess is Al-Qaeda's not going to, they haven't pulled off another 9/11 style attack, which invading Afghanistan wouldn't have prevented anyway. And whoever the next ruler is in Afghanistan will probably think, if we support people that do terrorism in the United States, they'll come over and bomb the country and occupy it for 10 years. Okay, so you've shown them the deterrent that they're probably not going to attack you, and it is Afghanistan.
Yeah, I never actually thought about that theory.
I mean,
that we've already established.
You've already established that, you know, your country will get invaded and you'll be taken over if you pull off a mass casualty terror attack in the West. It's not our problem. We don't live there.
By 2014, we will have been there 13 years.
13 years. And what have we accomplished?
You don't think by 2014 there will be a stable Afghan central government?
No, dude. No. No, look, the problem is coming from Pakistan, who were supplying with money.
Why does a guy like Robert Gates then say that there's a benefit to staying till 2014? He's not an idiot.
Because they're all looking at it in terms of thinking the U.S. is the hegemon for the world and that we can somehow control these countries. In that having some involvement and some leverage and some power somehow benefits us in a way that having no leverage doesn't. It's the same argument with going into Libya. I mean, there's several things you could do, that non-violent steps you could take to target the Libyan regime. But once you get a no-fly zone, once you put troops in, you are going to get in a situation where, you know, it's like, you ever been in a fight as an adult? I mean, one thing as a kid, as an adult, it's extra dangerous because you don't know where it's going to lead.
Yeah.
Like, once you open that door to violence, there's no telling what the outcome will be. So the goal is, don't open the door.
What about this old school? And I think that people who don't understand this, and I might count myself among this, back in the day, we used to kill leaders we didn't like. We managed to get them executed. We did it all the time. We did it in the Dominican Republic. We did it in Chile. Why can't we get Gaddafi killed? Why can't we get him executed? It's just because we can't get close to him?
You can't. It's the same reason that you can't get Osama bin Laden and you can't really defeat the Taliban.
Well,
because
Osama
these
bin
are all
Laden, we don't
clan, but they're all clan and family networks. If you're not part of the clan or part of the family or an insider ethnically, you're not going to get in there. You won't get through the door. So you can't get close enough. And if you come in contact with any of these clan members or family members, people talk. Say, hey, dude, I saw Abdul having a cup of coffee last week with this American guy.
Right.
So Abdul is,
Right.
Take him out to the desert.
That's the end of Abdul.
You can't get close. So you're left with bombing them or, marching in and kicking down
That's
the
what I
palace
suspected
doors.
the answer is, but you hear, I'm sure a lot of people think, why don't we just kill Gaddafi?
No, there's no easy solutions to it. And then look, and let's say we killed him, okay? Let's say we gave arms and put a no-fly zone up. Okay, what are you going to do when the rebels start executing random Africans just because they're black and they think they could have been part of Gaddafi's militia? What are you going to do when the rebels go and they start executing women and children and
So-
everything else in a clan that
so is-
had supported Gaddafi.
Is the right solution to do nothing?
Yes.
Always?
Keep your hand. No, not always. But if we don't have a dog in the fight, and it's only going to make it worse, and we're stretched out all over the world, I mean, let Europe do something. They're right there. Let Egypt do something. They're right next door.
Seems like Egypt's busy.
It seems like Egypt's busy, but it wouldn't take that much, honestly.
So in Libya's case, though, you would essentially do nothing. No
No,
airstrikes.
I mean,
What about a
this-
no-fly zone?
What about it? I mean,
What is a
why
no-fly
not
zone?
Iran? They're rounding up and killing their citizens. Why not go after
But
Iran?
not like this.
Well, they didn't have to. They were able to grab enough of them at first and beat them into submission.
Isn't there a significant difference between Iran and Libya?
Yeah, Iran can fight back. That's the only significant difference.
Is that
Look,
right?
Yeah, look, there's
there'd
always a
be a-
reason to get involved.
But there'd be a
okay?
very different reaction internationally to involvement in Iran than involvement
Yes, because
in
Iran can
Libya.
fight back.
But Iran is seen differently internationally, and there are respected clerics in Iran to the Muslim world that are not in Libya. I mean, the degree to which Muammar Gaddafi is seen as an outsider madman is different, even though Ahmadinejad is seen as a madman. I mean, there are degrees, and it
No,
seems
you're
like
right,
Muammar
there's
Gaddafi
degrees,
is off
but
the charts.
At the same time, why do we have to get involved in everything? I mean, you've got a war going on our southern border in this country. It's killing thousands of Mexicans every year. That we're not involved in that. I mean, we're the cause of it ultimately because we're selling them the guns and we're buying the drugs to fund it. And our policies are causing that war. But we don't seem to be too concerned about that.
So the solution in Libya, still do nothing. Would a
Do
no-fly
nothing.
zone do anything? I mean, it would.
Yeah, it would stop him from being able to resupply by air. It would slow down how he could move his forces around. It would, take out his helicopter gunships. But in the end, I mean, look.
Would a no-fly?
And then, let's say the rebels do win. Then
Do
we'll
we-
feel and they'll feel they owe us or we owe them. And why not have people do it on their own?
Would a no-fly zone, which I imagine are planes preventing the Libyan Air Force from strikes, would a no-fly zone prevent a helicopter gunship from flying at 1,000 feet?
Sure, it's flying.
It would. So a no-fly zone
Yeah,
would
dude.
operate that low. So a no-fly
Yes.
zone from one of our planes or a NATO plane, or whoever would operate the no-fly zone.
It's pretty easy to shoot down a helicopter with
Oh,
a
I
fighter
don't.
jet.
I don't doubt the ease. I'm sure we can bomb with a plane. We could hit the presidential palace in a
Yeah.
breeze. I mean, it's not going anywhere. We'd hit it. So I'm sure we could hit the helicopter. But that's what we would do in a no-fly zone.
Yeah. But why do we have to do it? Why do we have to open up another war somewhere?
If you're fighting two, it's like having once
I
you
get it. Dude, Gaddafi's a total scumbag. He's a terrorist, and he blew up a plane full of people. But
I think once you have two dogs, it's not that big a deal to get a third because you got to walk two anyway. No, not true.
no.
I think it's
true.
exactly the same.
All right. We'll have to disagree on that.